Hello, 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 everybody. Hi, it's How to Tuesday. Yes, it is. Hi, everybody. My name is Eve. This is Eve's Creations Paint Party. Welcome to my humble abode. Of course, we have to say hi to the Mr. Butters. Oh, yeah. So let's give him some props because you never know. He might want to chime in. That's just what he does. He's a dog. Hello. Hi, Butters. Say hi to your fans. You're such a good boy. Say hi. Look at that tail going. You're a good boy. There he is. Hello. So, hello, everybody. So, tonight is a practice session. There is no actual painting. We're just going to practice. And tonight is the ocean. So, I'm going to show you everything I know about painting the ocean. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask me. This is your time. This is for you to learn and have fun and maybe pick up some tricks to make your paintings that much better. So say hello if you're painting with me tonight, and we'll get our roll call list going on and get this thing started. All right, so I'm going to show you the weapons of the evening. Hey, Kelly, how you doing, sweetheart? Hello. So let's see what I got on my handy dandy table. I got every color poured, same colors every single time: red, yellow, white, blue, and black. I got my handy dandy water. We got a whole bunch of brushes going on here. I have no idea what I want to use, so I'll tell you when I go to use it. No worries, I'll keep you posted. Hi guys. Hi Kelly. Hey Deb, how you doing? You're away but you're watching. That sounds good to me. Jerry's here. Hello Jerry. Hey Nancy, how you doing, sweetheart? So hello fam. Hello my painting fam. It's so good to see everybody. And so I'm going to show you things about the ocean. I wanted to show you some of my pieces I've done. You're watching too? Hey, we got our watchers in the house. Oh yeah, just a watching. That's all. Hi Nancy, welcome. First timer in the house. Oh, you're at the ocean in Maine. Good stuff, Deb. Everybody, welcome Nancy Franklin to the family. Hello, we got a newbie. Ding, 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 ding. Hello, Nancy. How you doing, sweetheart? So I wanted to show you some of my paintings that I've done of the ocean first, just to get a little groove going. All right, and then I'll put you in your handy dandy holder. Okay, so here we go. Alrighty. So oceans are awesome. You can do anything with them. You have any colors, so I have those two right there. It's funny, when I paint oceans, I always stress over the shape of my waves, which is really silly because waves come in every shape and size. So I have to be reminded myself to have fun. So there's two pieces of my ocean. I have a purple one going on here, and then what's really cool is you can do all sorts of stuff, so you can get even a bit abstract about it. What's awesome about the ocean is the movement in the water. So it's all about creating movement and creating all sorts of things happening with your almighty brushes and weapons that we use. So I'm going to put you in a handy dandy holder and we'll get started, all right? Give some people more of a chance to pop on. Get my roll call going. Hello, everybody. Hi. So those were just a few pieces that I did. We're going to throw a background on here real quick. All right, so I'm going to be grabbing my bigger boy. Big boy's going to be in the house. He is a 1-inch flat, so I call him Big Boy. Hi, Catherine. How you doing, sweetheart? Hello, love. Hello. So let me roll my do my roll call, and everybody get a 1-inch flat brush ready for yourselves. Okay. Oops, my hand is over the camera. Can't really see if my hand's over the camera, is it? Got my roll call. All right, so we got Kelly in the house, and Deb is in the house. We have Jerry hanging out with us. Hello, Jerry. You know, Jerry, I had a dream about doing a painting with fish and with koi, and in the dream, I was telling myself that, Jerry wanted you to paint that, so maybe it's time for me to paint something like that. We got two Nancys in the house. Oh, yeah, Nancy and Nancy. That's what I'm talking about. Deb is here, And we have Catherine's going on. Hello, Catherine. How you doing? And let's see, who else do we have? Someone's spamming some like buttons. I like it. I like it a lot. Margaret's here. Hey, Margaret. How you doing, sweetheart? So, got our roll call going. Hello, everybody. All right, so let's get this shindig started. I'm going to grab Big Boy. I know, I swear, Jerry, I wound up having a dream, and in the dream, I was talking about painting fish, and in my mind, I was like, somebody wanted me to paint fish. I'm glad you're doing well, Margaret. So, I call Big Boy, he's a 1-inch flat. I call him Big Boy. He's, we use him a lot. He is the brush of the hour. So, I'm going to swirl tap dab him. And you guys want to do a sunset ocean? You want to do a sunset ocean? I'm feeling a sunset ocean. Let's do a sunset ocean. Alright, guys, so sunset, right? So, I'm going to grab my yellow and a smidge of white. Alright, let's get that on there. Okay, so let's do a sunset ocean. Why not? Why not, right? Let's do this. Let's do this. So if you're just watching, that's awesome. If you're practicing along with me, that is great. I'm working on a 16 by 20, and we're just going to throw some yellow and white on here real quick. So as I'm throwing it on here, what I like to do when I'm doing any sort of water, right, I like to throw the colors of my sky down at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to throw my colors of my sky down at the bottom at the same time I'm painting them on top. Alright, so we're going to do that. So whenever I'm doing anything with water, I always throw my sky at the, when I say bottom and top, I'm cutting the canvas halfway, so that's like the top and that's like the bottom. So I always throw my colors down at the bottom too. Well, I might wind up covering them up, I might not, but you know what? That's just what I do. Because that way they're there if I want them to be there. Okay, now I'm just going to grab a little bit of red. Grabbing a little bit of red with that white and yellow. Alright, going to throw that on there. Going to throw this on there, right? So we did our how-to on blending and all that happy stuff, right? We got that rolling for us. So I'm just grabbing some red. Right, throwing that on top and on the bottom at the same time. Why not? No worries, all good, right? Just grabbing all sorts of things going on, getting ourselves a nice sunset sky. Getting this rocking and rolling for you. Rocking and rolling going on here. So if you're practicing along with me, that is great. Get your media paper going on. Get your piece of cardboard going on. An old canvas going on. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Paint on whatever you want to paint on. So I actually do... Your blending is never as good as mine. Well, thank you so much for that, Jerry. And trust me, you will get there. You will get there. There's lots of tricks to the blending. I did the how-to blending to show everybody the blending. Sometimes it all, like you're in, it's getting very warm out. It's 90 degrees in New Jersey, and you're in Texas, right? So you probably have it warm out more than we do. So you might have to do the adding a little dab of water trick, or you might have to use some extenders on your paint. So this way it stays nice and wet, because you can't blend dry paint. You just can't do it. It's just not going to happen. You can't blend dry paint. Like I threw this on here and this was dry before I even could grab my red. So if it's really, really warm out, you guys are going to start noticing with the summer months here that your paint does not want to blend at all. And that's okay. There's tricks to fixing that, because I'm having difficulty just throwing this on here real quick for you guys. It's not blending for me either. I'll give you a little bit of a heads up here. It's not really doing a blend for me either right now. So I'm kind of grabbing all my colors on the brush. I'm dipping my brush into red, yellow, and white all at the same time. Oh, I bet it is, Jerry. I bet it is. And hi, Lisa. How you doing? So, oh, I'm glad you watched the video. So there's definitely tricks in there, and also it just takes some practice. That's all. But you can't blend dry paint. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So, you know, there's all sorts of extenders and there's all sorts of tricks that you can do. I'm gonna swirl tap dab my brush, and I'm gonna leave it a little bit on the wet side and throw some more of the yellow on here. So I'm swirl tap dabbing my brush. I'm cleaning all that red out. I'm gonna grab my yellow with a wet brush, and I'm gonna put some of blend this out a little bit better for us, just a little bit better. Okay, so those that are new to watching me, I have all sorts of how-tos out there already. And also, guys, if there's anything you want to see, 6,000%, let me know. You know, I will definitely put it on the list. Okay, so, yep. See, so this isn't really blending for me, guys. You see that? So Eve's having some issues here, and that's okay. That's okay, cause it happens. It happens, yes it does. You're not the only one. We get stuff not cooperating all the time. Koi fish! Right? I sometimes must water on there so you must water. Mist water. Yes, sometimes it's good to work on a wet canvas. I've never used a floating medium, Deb. I don't get that fancy. I don't get that. Yeah, you must water first, Lisa. So Lisa missed water on her canvas first. Deb is saying, do I use a floating medium? I don't get that fancy. I just use paint and water. There's a lot of people out there that use different mediums. 6,000%. Try them. There's so many out there. If it works for you, hey, go for it. Go for it. All right. So we're going to turn around and we want to do an ocean, all right? So we need a horizon line. And since I'm doing a sunset, I'm going to turn around and just grab some red paint. I'm going to grab just some red paint, okay? Straight up red on here. And I'm going to find my halfway mark, wherever I want my water line to be. I'm going to hold my brush back here, and I'm going to shoot it straight across. Faster you go, straighter it'll be. Alright, faster you go, straighter it'll be. Now I'm just going to turn around with this red paint. Alright, this red paint. That's right, you're doing an ocean. It doesn't mean you have to go for the blue. Doesn't mean you have to go for the blue right away. You could turn around and have different colors. The water picks up all sorts of colors. So there is no rule out there that says you have to grab different colors, that you have to grab the blue. Alright, so I'm just grabbing red paint and grabbing this red, and I'm going to turn around and put a little horizon line on here. Now it's water, so you don't have to turn around and have it be a perfectly straight line going across your canvas. It doesn't have to happen. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I am grabbing red paint, and now my brush. What I'm doing with my brush right now is all I'm doing is making it a wet bristled brush, not to the point of where my bristles are dripping, but my bristles are damp, and I am just softening this out. I don't have any paint on my brush right now. I'm just dipping it in water, and I'm softening all this out. That's what I'm doing. So I am literally painting with nothing on my brush. I'm just dipping it in water, doing a little dab. Sunsets are fun, right? And just doing a little dab. And I'm softening this out with just some water on my brush. That is all I'm doing. Okay, so now for the ocean, you want to turn around and you have, as I'm getting closer to me, I'm going to add a little bit of blue into this. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of blue into this. Just a little bit. Just to turn around and get some dark going on here. Now, so I just grabbed the tiniest bit of blue, and I'm going to grab my red. So I'm doing red and blue. Red and blue. That's what we're doing. And I want to grab the red with the blue because the blue is going to want to pick up the yellow and make green, which is fine. There's green in the ocean too. Because I just want to get a darker color on here. I just want to get a darker color on here. That's all I want to do. I just want to create some darkness in here. Okay, so now we need the waves. We need the waves coming towards us, right? We need the waves coming towards us. So I'm going to turn around and get this dark on here, so we can turn and make the waves that are coming towards us. So what you want to remember is you kind of want to remember that waves are, you know, they're just like little arches, little ripples, little lines. That's all there is. That's all they are. Nothing major. Okay, nothing major going on. Still just grabbing red and blue, guys. Sunsets are fun, right? Sunsets are totally fun. So I'm still just grabbing red and blue. Now I'm grabbing just the red. Now I'm grabbing just red. With a very, very, very wet brush. The very, very, very wet brush, I'm grabbing just red, and I'm blending all of that together. Okay, so now that I have my base colors on here, I'm going to turn around and start doing my ocean pieces. Okay, I'm going to start doing my ocean pieces. Alright, and so we did a sunset, so obviously it's light back here because the sun is hitting it. But usually what you do, if you notice, you're going to turn around, and back here should be darker than as you move your way down to the down the canvas, you should get lighter and lighter. Okay, so obviously we kind of are breaking that rule because we have a sunset in here. But if you notice, I'm really, really dark here, and then I start getting lighter as I move down. Alright, so when you're doing your ocean, you're going to turn around and have it really, really dark. You're darker up in here, and then as you move down, you want it to get lighter and lighter. That's pretty much the rule of thumb. You know what I mean? Like, it's not written in stone, but whenever you do any objects on your canvas, the farther away it is, meaning like if you're looking at this is going far away, the farther away it is, the darker it should be. Now, if you throw a sun in there, obviously that's going to change it up a bit, but that's the rule of thumb. So the further away it is, the lighter it's going to be. So, hello, fam. I just wanted to say hi to everybody, and thank you for coming on and watching. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Alright, guys. So, I'm going to start doing some ocean stuff now. I'm going to grab some more red paint. and we're going to turn around. We're going to start making some waves in here. So, what you want to remember, too, I know you're listening to me jibber jabber, but anyone practicing along with me can catch up mustard. But, so, as you're doing your waves, as you're moving further away, right, further into your canvas, this is further away, your waves are small. And then as you work your way down the canvas, they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, okay? So, if I'm putting a little wave piece in here, again, I'm going unconventional. I'm grabbing red paint. And if I'm going to put a little wave piece in here, if I'm putting it up by my horizon line, it's going to be small. Alright, so I just put a little bit of red paint on the tip of my brush. Notice my brush is nice and flat and thin. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little squiggle. Just a little squiggle. See that? Okay? Nice and small. nice and small. And then I'm just going to very lightly go back and forth with that a little bit. Okay, so nice and small, tiny little squiggles. Okay, so if I'm going up in here, it's going to be really small. So I'm just going to wiggle my brush back and forth here because it's a 1-inch flat. So I'm going to wiggle my brush back and forth, and I'm going to grab a 1/2-inch flat because it's very difficult to make small when you're holding a 1-inch brush. So it's a 1/2 inch. Same thing, flat brush. So, and then I put that, and I'm just going to soften this out. I'm just going to soften this out. So, okay, so make sure they're very small the further back you are. Small little wiggles. Small little wiggles, that's it. That's all we're doing. Okay, maybe there's one right on the horizon. That one's going to be tiny. Okay, tiny. Right, maybe there's one like right here. Right, small. And then as you move your way forward, you want to make them bigger and bigger. Okay, so you want to make them bigger and bigger. So what I'm doing is I'm putting these lines on. I'm using just red paint. Excuse me. And so I'm putting in a squiggle, right? And then I'm softening the bottom of that squiggle by doing a little bit of zigzag zoom action. Okay, I'm softening that squiggle by doing a little zigzag zoom action. Okay, so this is how you do little tiny waves coming towards you in the ocean. Alright, so come over here to my dark stuff, and I'm going to put in a big old squiggle. You see that? That was a big old squiggle because I'm all the way up close to where I'm at. So, and again, I'm just doing some zigzag motion to get that on there. Just zigzagging. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to show you these, and then I'm going to show you a really big wave. Like if you're going to be doing like whoosh, like a really big wave. Okay guys, so basically I'm just like picking where I want my waves to be. That's all I'm doing. Alright, now I'm going to grab a smidge of yellow. Didn't clean my brush, just grabbing some yellow. And I'm going to come onto this wave here, and I'm going to put some yellow on it. I'm just dabbing some yellow like it's picking up the sunshine. Alright, so another thing when you're doing water, when you're doing the ocean, you know, you want to keep, you know, obviously my color scheme is the sunset color scheme. So what's cool about water is it picks up all sorts of light from all sorts of areas. So you want to have all of your colors of what's going on around it so you can mix them into your waves. So I did red, and now since this is close to me, you're going to see more detail of what's going on in the water. So now I'm just throwing some yellow on top of it. And I'm just going to do a little back and forth motion to soften it in. Soften it in. Okay, so as you get closer, you can start adding more details, more colors, more light hitting these things, whatever you want to do. Whoop! And I dropped my brush. I caught it though. Score! I caught it. So anyway, you want to start putting those in. Alright, so let's do one on the other side. I'm going to grab just red. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to throw in some just red over here, which is, you know, a nice big one. Let's go back to the 1-inch flat. I'm going to just squiggle some just red, and I'm going to do like a little peak, you know, little peaks and valleys. If you notice, waves turn around and have high and low, right? So you got the high point, and then you got the low points, high and low, right? So kind of look like, let me throw some blue in here so you can see it better. So I'm grabbing a microscopic amount of blue. Microscopic amount of blue and some red. Okay, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go up. I'm going to come down. I'm going to go up again. I'm going to come down. Okay, so, and always soften the bottom out. Always kind of like when you're doing mountains, you know how you do the edges of the mountains? You want to soften your bottoms out, okay, of your water. So you put in your line for your shape, and then you soften the bottom. Again, so I'll do that again. So I'm grabbing this microscopic amount of blue. I'm grabbing some red. I'm going to come up and down, do another little peek, come across. And I'm grabbing the blue so you guys can see what I'm doing. If I was doing this on my own, I would have kept it just the red. But like I said, this being a sunset, we're kind of going opposite of the rule because our light source is back there. Alright, so now I'm grabbing just the red though. So this way it's still getting lighter as I go down. Alrighty guys? You with me so far? You doing okay? You're cruising? So now we got a big old wave in here. We got a big old wave in here, right? Fun stuff. I love the oceans are fun because, like I was saying before, what I stress a lot is the shapes of my waves, which is really funny because waves come in every size and shape, so you don't have to really worry about it. But I always seem to stress them for some reason. I always seem to stress them. I'm not really sure why. Probably because I'm OCD and want it to look a certain way. And, you know, the control freak in me. Alright, so I'm going to turn around, give you guys a chance to catch up mustard. Alright, let's do some roll call here. Let's see if we got everybody that's hanging out with us. We got Kelly, and plus I want a sip of my coffee. So, if you have any questions, let me know so far. So we're doing a sunset ocean tonight. Why not? Got my Java right here. So we have Kelly in the house, and Deb, and Jerry, and Nancy, and Nancy. It's two Nancys tonight. And we got Catherine, and Margaret, and Lisa is here. Hi, Lisa. Okay, so everybody's hanging tough. If you're joining tonight, say hello, hello, hello. It's always free to watch. Tips are appreciated. I will post those links for you. And I'm giving away Mr. Nifties. So if you want a Mr. Nifty, anybody that warms my heart, sends me support, those are being sent out to you. And we're making oceans, people. We're making an ocean. You guys can do this. This isn't hard. Hey, Eve. Been so busy lately with the pretty weather. Yes, Tracy. Hi, Tracy. It's Tuesday. I don't blame you, Tracy. I don't blame you. Alright, so we're giving this a minute to dry. That's another reason why I'm doing roll call. You want to make sure you allow your stuff to dry before you try painting on top of it. I'm doing okay, Tracy. Oh, you got a bad signal right now? Oh, Kelly, that stinks. So another rule is you got to let your stuff dry before you start painting on top of it. So we did the first little layers of everything. And I'm doing roll call, and I'm kind of jibber-jabbering with you guys because I'm giving that a second to dry for myself. So this way, whatever I put on top isn't going to blend out. It's not going to blend out. So a lot of times I've noticed with you guys painting and some of the troubles you have, number one, you use too much paint. So it's really, really thick. And you don't give it a chance to dry. So that's number one. Alright, you got to find that balance between not enough and too much paint. Alright, so this is very thin. Extremely thin amount of paint I used. And also I had to use, yes, Kelly, I was thinking of you, but I didn't want to call you out. I was thinking of you when I said that, but I didn't want to call you out on it. I was being nice. You called yourself out. Also, this is extremely thin because I added a lot of water because the blending was giving me trouble. Alright, another thing you guys do is you don't give it a chance to dry. And I know a lot of some of you turn around and use blow dryers and do all that fancy stuff, which is fine. But, you know, you got to give it a minute. Because what happens is if you keep playing with it when it's wet, number one, your paint's getting thicker and thicker and thicker. Unless you're going for an impasto moment, I think I said that right, you're just going to wind up getting yourself frustrated. Number two is whatever you put on wet paint is going to wind up blending out. So if you're looking to show details and different things going on, painting on top of wet paint isn't, you got to give it a minute. All right, guys? Got to give it a minute. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do to prepare you guys for what I'm going to do as this is drying is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to play with my light. All right, so we already said that, you know, the light source is here, and what's awesome about water is you get these translucent moments, and what that means is your colors go through the water. Okay, so you ever watch the ocean and a sunset and the waves have all of the pretty yellows and oranges? Kind of what I did over here. All right, I was being impatient. I wasn't letting my paint dry. So this yellow is really thick. Look, I can blend it out with my finger. Okay, because I was being impatient myself. So we all do that. We all wind up being a little impatient. And that's okay. I'm just letting you know that if you're impatient, it might lead to frustration. I also wanted to let you guys know that this is a kid-friendly video, so I'm trying to watch this and you guys watch that. Watch your comments, okay? I'm trying. I gotta remind myself of that sometimes. Alright, so I'm gonna swirl tap dab my big brush, and I'm gonna come into here and I'm gonna start putting in those colors that I want to do, because this is fairly dry now. All right, so I'm going to work with a nice clean brush, and I'm going to grab my yellow paint now. All right, because we're working in sunset colors, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start putting in the light colors. Okay, so very easy, very simple. You're just going to brush them on top. Now, because I allowed my paint to dry, now, the thing with the ocean is it's all about movement, right? So if you notice, as I'm brushing this on, I'm following the shape of my wave. I'm following the shape of my wave, okay? So I'm brushing this in, and I'm brushing a lot so it blends out towards the bottom, because it's all about the peaks with waves. It's all about the peaks. Nobody really cares what's going on down here. It's all about in the wave. So I'm following the motion of my wave, right, guys? I'm following the shape of the wave. Okay, so you want to do that. You want to follow your shape of your wave. Okay, and I am putting in my yellow because it's picking up my sunset. Okay, so I am just grabbing, all I'm doing is grabbing yellow paint and I'm putting this on here. Okay, and then as I get to the bottom, I'm pressing harder and I'm just softening this out. That's all I'm doing. I'm just blending it out. I'm softening it out. But you want to follow the shape of your wave. Alright, so I promised you like a crashing wave, so we're going to make this part crashing. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some red and I'm going to grab some blue. Because a crashing wave has shadow in it. Hi Nancy, yes, my replays are always available. If you scroll down my page, you'll see a ton of videos pop up. You can hit the videos link. I download them to YouTube, and then I share the YouTube link on the event page. So there's all sorts of spots you can find my replays. So I'm grabbing some blue and some red, and I'm going to make this into a crashing wave. So I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to put some dark in here. I'm going to put some dark in here, and I'm swooping up and then coming over. Okay, swooping up and coming over. Okay, so we're going to put some dark in here. Okay, so I'm going to add this dark in because I promised you a crashing wave. Okay, so that's going to have dark underneath. All right. So grabbing red and blue, Grabbing red and blue, and I'm coming in here. Notice I am not painting over my light part. I'm trying very, 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 very hard not to cover that up. And now I'm just going to dab with my brush to soften this out. I'm just dabbing with my brush to soften that out. And I'm going to grab some red paint to soften this out even more right here. Okay? Again, if you notice, I am arching my brush. I am, you're so welcome, Nancy. So I am doing a sweeping motion with my brush. Everything is a sweeping motion. I'm doing it quickly, but I'm going like this. Okay? So I'm going to grab some red, and I'm just softening that part out. Right? Okay. So, while that's drying, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to turn around and finish what's going on over here. Alright, so I'm going to take my 1-inch brush, my 1/2-inch brush, excuse me, grabbing my 1/2-inch brush, and I'm going to grab some just red paint, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm just doing little dabs with the red paint now. Just little dabs with the red paint. And now I'm going to grab my white. So I'm going to grab a smidge of white. Now I'm talking a microscopic smidge of white. Not much white paint at all. At all. Not that much. At all. Right? Very little paint. Nice flat thin brush. And I'm going to come to the top of this, and I'm just going to do a little bit of zigzag zooming. Okay, I'm doing a little zigzag zoom, and since I just put that red in there, it's going to turn into pink for me. Okay, so I'm just zigzag zooming. If you see, I'm just shifting my brush back and forth. Just shifting my brush back and forth. And I'm going to wipe off the excess paint on my brush, and I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to soften all this out underneath. So now I have no paint on my brush, and I am just softening this out, doing the same thing. Doing the same thing. I'm just softening this out. Okay, I'm just softening this out. Smushing it around. That's all I'm doing. Alright, and I'm going to turn around. I'm going to put some white back on this one. Again, very small amount of paint. Hardly any at all. I'm going to come up over here, and I'm going to put some zigzag zooms on this one of the white paint. Okay, zigzag zooms. I'm going to wipe off the paint off of my brush. You're welcome, sweetie. And I'm going to just soften this out underneath. Guess what, guys? I'm very, very, very excited. You know why? Because my coffee's ready. My coffee's ready. Now, I'm going to grab my yellow again. I'm going to grab my yellow. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to put my yellow. Again, zigzag zooming, following the shape of my wave, guys. Following the shape of my wave. And as I move further down, I want to blend that out. Okay, so I'm grabbing my yellow. And I'm throwing the yellow on here. Now I'm going to do my sweeping motion. And I'm going to soften that out, okay? So all of this is building. You're building, building, building. Okay, you're building on top of each other. All right, and I'm going to do another little break right in here. Okay, so say something else, another little break in the water's happening. So I just grab some white paint, and I'm coming in here, and I'm doing the same thing. Zigzag zoom, like this. I covered the white with the yellow, yes. So the white that I put on here, I covered with the yellow. The white here blended out into the red that was wet on my canvas. So yes, I covered the white because we're working in sunset colors. If you were doing a regular ocean with just blue and white, you wouldn't cover the white. You'd leave it alone. You'd leave it alone. So I'm adding another little something going on here. Again, you want to blend it out and soften it as you're going. My favorite blending tools in the whole wide world, the fingers. if there were rock formations in the water, is it the same technique to do crashing waves on the rocks? All right, so you want to see something crashing onto a rock. Okay, Deb, I got you. Let's throw a rock in here and I'll show you. How's that sound? All right, so Deb wants a rock. All right, no worries. I'm going to grab some black. I'm going to grab some blue. And let's throw a rock in here. Why not, right? So let's see. Let's see. All right, right here. Right here. We got a rock. Or whatever. Island, whatever you want to call it. Right here. So I just grabbed some black and blue. And we're throwing a rock in here. There we go. There it is. Bam. Just like that. Just like that. We now have an island or whatever you want to call it. Boom. Let's give it a side. Boom. Just like that. Swoop it up a little bit. And we'll throw a rock in here. Okay. So we need to let this rock dry before I start doing stuff to it. Okay? No worries. I got you. Alright, so on top of the rock's going to hit sunset colors. So I'm just going to grab some red paint and I'm going to throw some red paint. And of course I didn't let it to dry, so most of it blended out. Right? So we'll throw some red on top of this rock because it's picking up some of the sunset going on there. Alright, so I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush since I just put black and blue into it all. And I'm still using just a 1/2 inch brush. It's the same thing as using Big Boy. It's just a flat brush, guys. So if you're working on your brush collection, make sure you get yourself flat brushes, right? Flat brushes, because they're flat. And just get yourself different sizes. Hi, Tina! You made it, sweetheart! Da, 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 da. Tina's here! Yay! So, I'm going to go back over to what I was doing over here. Now, Jerry, to answer you about covering the white, I am. Because I'm doing sunset. So I'm grabbing my yellow paint, and this white should be dry now. And I'm going to come over here, and over the white, I'm going to do the yellow. Over the white, I'm going to do the yellow. Okay? And then we're going to soften that out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of red. Smallest amount of red possible. And I'm going to go swooping again, right? Swooping motions. Swooping, swooping, swooping. We're swooping, swooping. That's what we're doing. I'm putting some red because that's going to mix with my yellow and make the oranges happen. Okay, see how I magically just made an orange moment? It's all good. I love it. Deb's saying she always throws me a challenge. I love it. See how the orange happened? So I put the yellow and grabbed a little bit of red and we made an orange moment. Okay, the magic of paint, guys. The magic of painting. Right? I'm going to grab some more yellow. And I'm going to come in here. Have some more yellow going on. Okay, blend it out. Blend it out. Alright, so what do you learn so far, right? As you further away, smaller waves. As you move closer, bigger and bigger. Let your stuff dry. Then you can start putting your layers of color on top. Okay, everything on the top, your top lines are nice and strong, and you blend it out as you move down. Okay, you blend it out as you move down. You just smush, 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 and blend it all out. Okay, now I'm going to add the yellow to this one over here that I put white on before. So I'm grabbing my yellow paint, and I'm going to come onto the top of this one that I did before. Now this is nice and dry because my paint was nice and thin, Kelly. And I'm just grabbing my yellow paint and going on the top of this. So everything is building, right? Building layer on top of layer. That's what we're doing. Layer on top of layer. Okay, that is what we're doing. Building. And I like working with the whites and the reds because they're kind of see-through. They're kind of see-through as it is. All right, so what's nice about working with the reds and the yellows with the paint is they don't go on like bam and you can't see through them. What's nice is that you can you know, it winds up being see-through. So as you're working this down your wave and blending, you're still getting some of the colors that are in the background. Alright, so I'm going to do the crashing wave and then I'm going to deal with the rock, okay? Because my crashing wave over here, notice I did a swooping arch like this. Alright, so my crashing wave is nice and dry. Should be nice and dry. Java break. Taking a Java break. 1 second. I need some coffee. You guys are working me hard. We need some coffee up in here. We need some coffee up in here. So if you guys have any questions, ask me. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you. And I'm going through the process of how I do this. Okay, so I'm going to show you the crashing wave. I'm only using flat brushes, so no worries. No worries, okay? If there's a how-to anybody out there would like to see, 6,000%, let me know. Okay, so we have the sun coming in through here, which is nice. All right, so I'm going to grab my 1/2 inch flat because I don't want to get nutty. All right, and this is swooping up, maybe catching a little bit of that sunset, and this is coming over. Okay, so my foam is going to be on this edge, so I'm going to grab my white paint, small amounts of white. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put where the foam's going. So I am doing like circular motions. And then as I work my way down, I'm going to wipe the paint off of my brush and I'm just going to soften this out. Just going to soften this out. And then I'm going to grab some, let's grab some red. Let's grab some red. Soften this out with some red paint. For now, I'll come back to this. So for now, I'm just going to soften it out with some red. Okay? And let's throw some yellow on there. What the heck? What the heck? Let's throw some yellow on there. Alright, so I'm just softening that piece out with the red and yellow. Just throwing that on top for now. Okay, because we have to have our foam end somewhere. Now my brush is dirty and I'm going to grab some more white paint and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just zigzag back and forth and I'm doing little smushes, and now I'm getting the peach colors. Right, and I'm smushing, I'm pressing against this, I'm smushing. Okay, I'm pressing against this, I'm smushing. I'm following the motion. The motion in the ocean, guys, the motion in the ocean. I'm going to grab the smallest amount of white paint now, and I'm going to put that right on the tip here, because this is coming over and splashing down. And I'm going to do little dabs. Just little dabs. So, am I doing a lot of different brush strokes? Am I smushing at one point? Am I zigzagging at another? Yes. Can you guys do this? Yes. Honestly, all I'm doing, I'm playing. That's all I'm doing. I'm playing, I'm moving my brush around, I'm grabbing different colors, and I'm just having fun with it. I just happen to be telling you what I'm doing at the same time. Grabbing red paint. I'm going to come up in here. I'm going to come up in here. And I'm going to grab red with that white now. And notice I'm arching. Everything's arching. Everything's following the motion that you created. The shapes that you created. I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm just going to sweep upwards like this. I'm just going to sweep upwards like this. Okay, guys? Now I'm back to scribbling again. So, you know, it's all playing. It's all getting, it's all doing different things. I'm going to grab the tiniest amount of blue. That was a lot of blue. Oops. Alright, so wipe my brush off. Too much blue. Too much blue. Ah! Right? And I'm just going to smush this in and blend this out now. So, just grab the tiniest amount of blue. That's all I did. Alright. Now, let that dry. Let that part dry, okay? And what I want to do is I really want to define this part that's swooping up. So I'm going to darken this area out behind my little zigzag. I'm going to darken this out to make this come out more. So I'm swirl tap dab my brush, and I'm going to grab some red and a microscopic amount of blue. See that? Small amount. I'm going to do a little dabs. Make sure I don't have too much blue in there. Okay, microscopic amount of blue. Okay, and I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go into this lower spot, right? Because all this fun stuff's happening up here. So you got to make sure you add your shadows as much as you're doing the top of your waves. Okay, so you got to add your shadows in too. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to zigzag zoom my shadows in. And I'm doing a lot of zigzag zoom, nice soft moments, nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. We don't get fancy here. Alright, to use my favorite blending tool. Okay, and I'm going to do my dark moments in here. Especially if we have the rock. The rock's going to make some darker moments going on. So all I'm grabbing is some red with some microscopic blue. Now, if you guys are going to do this, now I did a sunset ocean, so this is like really tricky with all these colors and everything else I'm grabbing lots of different colors. If you guys are going to do this and you're doing the classic, you know, blue and white, basically just remember that I'm making dark and light moments. Okay, so this is a dark moment, so, and then up here was the lighter moment, so you would grab more white with your blue, okay? This is the darker moment, so you'd be grabbing just blue or some blue and black. Alright, so I'm sweeping in the darker moment, the darker spots of my waves, okay? And as I put these in there, it's going to make all that fun you did on the top part come out even better. Using my favorite blending tool, blend that all out and in. Alright, now I'm going to put another dark moment in here. So, I'm zigzag zooming. I have hardly any paint on my brush at all. I didn't grab more paint. Did not do it. Because I want this all to move and do some painting magic for me. And we're putting in our dark moments over here and softening them out. Okay, softening them out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, guys. This isn't hard at all. This isn't that hard. It looks fancy because all these cool things are happening, but you can do this. No worries. No worries. Again, doing my sweeping motion with my hand. Okay, doing the sweeping motion with my hand, and I'm gonna soften. And if you're doing this, that's when you know you're having fun. If you're doing this and you lose your light, that's okay. You just put it back in. You know I always lose my light and darks all the time. I'm constantly going back and forth. All right, so I'm gonna put another dark moment right in here. Right in here, just grabbing some red with a smidge of blue in it. It's nice and dirty on my palette already, so I don't have to mix anything. See what I have going on here? See, so I have my dirty little red spot there. That's what I'm using. That's what I'm using, my dirty little red spot. Right, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put another dark moment in. Okay, right in between these two little things going on. Okay, right underneath that wave part. And I'm going to blend it all out. Soften it all up. Alright, so if you notice when I put the darks in, like now my layers are really popping. Now my layers are really popping. Alright, let's get to the rock. So Deb wants to know what happens at the rock. Okay, so if this water is moving in, it's going to start splashing on this rock. Alright, so I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush. And I'm going to grab my red. I'm going to grab my red and I'm going to start putting in the base of what's going on at this rock. So I know this stuff's going to go like this, right? Swoop in. So I'm grabbing my red and I'm just doing swooping motions into the rock. Okay? I'm just swooping. Swooping. And you guys might not be able to see this, but it's on my rock too. See that? See the swooping onto the rock there? Okay? So I'm just putting my first layer and soften it out and soften it out, right? Just soften it out, right? Grab some yellow, soften this out, right? Now I'm grabbing yellow paint and I'm going to swoop up this rock again. Okay, with my yellow paint. Now I'm going to grab my blue and my red. Now that I have my shape of my wave crash, I'm going to grab my blue and my red. And I'm going to add a dark moment going on in here. Now, is this cooperating? Absolutely not. Why is it not cooperating? Because I didn't let the first part dry. So, let's let that dry. We'll go back to that. Told you guys. I told you, you have to let this stuff dry. Otherwise, you're just going to wind up getting frustrated. I'm not lying here. And I show you because I've done this 6,000 times. I've done the mistakes. Trust me. The mistakes happen. Actually, what does Bob Ross say? No mistakes in art, right? No mistakes in art. That's what he says. All right, so let's go over here and let my rock mess dry here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and grab some white now. I'm gonna grab some white with my 1/2 inch flat. Still using the 1/2 inch flat. Didn't grab anything fancy. All right, guys, no fancy. I'm gonna come in here and make this even brighter now. Right, so I am now I'm putting some pieces that are kind of off the shape. See that? It's off the shape because this water is crashing and moving, and I'm just using like a little circular motion. I'm using a circular motion. I don't have much paint on my brush at all. I'm letting the paint and magic happen. I'm holding my brush right here and I'm doing a circular motion. Okay, we're doing circles. Circle, circle, circles. Blend it out. Blend it out. Okay, I'm going to grab some more white paint. And I'm going to do some more circles. Just doing circles, people. That's all I'm doing. Just doing circles. Alright, I'm going to grab some more white paint. And I'm going to put some pieces. Yeah, that's how I explain that. You like that little sound effect? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swoop, 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 swoop them. Alright, so I'm just going to do some pieces falling downward. Swoop, 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 swoop. See that? Like how I explain that? Making sound effects. That's how I explain that. And I'm going to do some circles again. Why not? And shoop, shoop, shoop. How come this ocean doesn't look the ocean that had a wharf. I don't know, Louise. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which ocean you're talking about. This is a practice session. We're not doing an actual painting, Louise. So you might be a little confused about that, which is fine. This is just a practice session. I'm showing you all my little tricks on how to paint an ocean. Okay? So I did the jagged lines going down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let that dry. And let's go back to our rock. And of course, you can add more pieces to this and that stuff too. So I'm going to go back to my rock. I'm going to grab my 1/2 inch flat. Still working with a 1/2 inch flat, guys. I'm not doing anything fancy here. Still working with a 1/2 inch flat. I'm going to go back over to the rock. And I'm going to do some sweeping motions upwards with some white paint. Okay? And let's curl them around. What the heck? Let's curl it around. Let's give it a little curl. Okay? So, hitting the rock. I'm going to pull this out. Little zigzag zoom moments. Alright, so I'm doing this in white first, and then I'm going to throw my colors on top of that. Oh, okay, Louise, you were going with the ocean picture advertised with wharf on. Oh, that was a photo I took. So you were going with today. Yeah, no worries, Louise. Yeah, we're just practicing. So that was actually a photograph that I took. I just popped those on there to kind of be like, we're doing ocean. You know, I don't really follow what's going on with that picture. Sometimes it's just an abstract painting and I put a title on top of it. You know, just because you need a picture for the event page. So that's what I do. But all of these tricks, if you wanted to paint a painting like that, you could totally use all of these tricks for it. So we're good to... Alright, so I'm grabbing a little bit of white paint and I'm going to come in here on this part of my rock, and I'm going to just add some white paint moments, do a little splashy. Okay, I'm just dabbing with my brush, just a little splashy. Light touch, light dabbing. Okay, and going back and forth with the white. And I'm just dabbing with my brush. I'm making all these little jumpy things. See that? See? Just dabbing with my brush. Okay, hardly any paint on it. It's kind of frayed out right now. And I'm just dabbing with it. Okay? Making these splashing moments happen. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here on the top of this one. And I'm going to add some more white paint. Right? So, and very little paint. If you guys noted, now I just grabbed some more. Okay? So, I'm not using a lot of paint. I'm not using a lot of paint at all. Alright? I'm going to do some splashy moments with this. Just dabbing. Just letting it play, letting it fall, whatever it wants to do. Just letting it splash around. Just playing. Doing a little sweep here. Doing a little sweeping. Sweeping back and forth. Okay. Alright, back to the crasher. We got the crasher going. Alright, I'm going to add some more bright white to it. I'm going to add some more bright white to it. So I grab more paint and I'm dabbing, I'm circling. Just making some really bright white moments. Here, there, not everywhere, guys. Here, there, not everywhere. So you have that difference. See how it's kind of darker and light? It's still white, but there's darker moments and lighter moments. You want those. So here, there, not everywhere. Remember that. Alright? Got my Dr. Seuss moment. I like green eggs and ham. Here, there, not everywhere. Alright, smushing this, some more bright white paint on here. Alright, I'm going to deal with this. I'm just going to grab some red. I'll swirl tap dab my brush to get the white out. And I'm going to grab some red. And I'm just going to throw some red on top of here. Because it's really close to me, so this would be, this would have lots of color going on in it. Okay, grabbing some red, and I'm going to grab some yellow. Right, give myself an orange moment. And I'm going to grab my red, and I'm going to come into the dark parts of my wave. And I'm going to put some red moments into the dark area of my wave. Okay, so I am just putting some red moments in here. All I'm doing is grabbing red paint, people. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Just grabbing red paint. Making this part of the wave not as dark. Using my favorite blending tool. Bye, Kelly. Bye, guys. So, I'm just going to finish up. I'm going to finish up with the splashing rock. And then we're going to finish up with the crash. And I think I showed you everything I need to show you. If you have any questions, let me know. A lot of this is playing back and forth. Alright, let me move the camera out so you can see what we have going on so far. So you see how this all works out as the bigger picture with all of the little things I showed you. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry now, and I'm going to go in and add some final touches. Now, I didn't do all that playing on every single piece, right? I would add more white onto this one because it's coming to a crest. You know, I would add a couple more zigzag zooms in here. So there's lots of things that I would be adding in. But now you know how to add those in on your own. Alright, so let's wake you all up for the final moments here. You're welcome, Deb. No worries. I have no problem adding a rock. So, Kelly, bye, Kelly. Deb and Jerry, Nancy, and Nancy. Louise is here. She was on here chiming in. Hi, Louise. And we got Catherine and Margaret and Lisa and Tracy and Tina. Hi, everybody. So, yeah, no worries. You're perfectly okay with the whole rock thing. I don't mind at all. I do not mind at all. Alright, so we gotta let this dry. So, is there any how-tos you guys want to see me do? Oh, also I want to show you Friday's painting. It's not finished yet, but this is what we're going to do on Friday. This is what we're going to be doing on Friday, guys. This is Friday's painting, a little red, white, and blue action going on. Alright, I didn't finish it yet, but that's for Friday, so I hope you all come back and party with us on Friday. Tuesdays is practice. Fridays is party. Because that's what we do here. That's what we do here. So, I'm going to finish up on this rock. If you guys could just imagine what I'm going to do, right? I'm sure you might already have some things in your own head of what you would do, right? So, we, you know, try to just think of what my next steps would be, and let's see if you're right, okay? Because it's the same steps I did on everything else, all right? So, you know what? Think in your mind, what would I do when I'm at this moment? When I'm at this part of my painting, what would I be doing? Because it's the same steps that I did in the rest of the painting. It's just a splash, so we changed the movement. So if you notice, everything is movement. Everything is going up and down and around. I have done a fairy painting. It was called Magic Lesson. And I have another fairy painting. Well, she's not a fairy, but it could be easily transformed into a fairy called Moonlight Swing or something like that. Really early on. Have I done a close-up fairy? No. Magic Lesson is 2 fairies on a mushroom. And Moonlight Swinger, I don't think that's a fairy, but you could easily add wings, was before that. So I have done some fairy paintings. I've been, Deb, you always ask me for stuff that I've been doing this for 1.5 years. So if you want anything, ask me, guys. I'm running out of ideas. I've been doing this a while. Remember, you guys are worth it. Yeah, so just scroll down, scroll through my page. I reposted Happy Camper. Somebody asked me for camping. So I did the blast from the past of Happy Camper. Alright, so now that this is good and dry, yes, I've done an elephant, Margaret. I did, it was an MS fundraiser, so it's an elephant with a MS ribbon and some butterflies. So I have done, it was like a baby elephant, not a real elephant. I haven't done any realistic animals, except for the how-to animals. So How-To Animals has some realistic animals. I'm going to be doing part 2s and 3s of that. And there's a cutesy elephant on a hill with flowers and butterflies. It was a fundraiser. Okay, final details, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here. And let's see if you guessed what I was going to do correctly. Right, so this is white. I'm going to grab my yellow. I'm going to grab my yellow and put the yellow colors in it, because I'm working with my sunset. Right, guys? Right? So look at you guys, right? We're learning about a sunset ocean. How amazing is this, right? So you guys are going to be taking my job, learning all these things, and you'll be able to surprise everybody and do your own sunset ocean. Yes. Yes, you will. All right, so I'm grabbing my yellow paint, and I'm going to throw the yellow coloring in here. Okay, because this splash is going to pick up the sunset colors. Okay, so I'm grabbing my yellow paint, and I'm going to put the yellow in here. Alright, good night, Deb. You catch the rest on the replay. Enjoy your evening, hon. So I'm grabbing the yellow paint, and I'm putting the yellow on here, right? Because that's going to be higher up, splashing. Right? Now I'm going to grab my red. And I'm going to put the darker moment down here. So we're going to put the darker in here, grabbing the red, making some orange moments happen. And again, following my movement, if you see. Thanks, love. Following the movement. Going back and forth, scribbling. That's all I'm doing. And I'm going to grab a little bit of the blue and the red. Lots of red, smidge of blue. I'll put the darker piece in. Put the darker piece in, okay? Got it? If you're going to have light, you need to have dark. Alright, going to blend that all out. Blend that all out. Okay. Swirl, tap, dab my brush. And I'm going to grab my red again. Soften this up. I'm going to soften this up with the red again. Grab my yellow. Grabbing the yellow. Making sure this is nice and blended and soft and pretty. Doing my splash. Okay. And we're going to let that dry. I'll come back and do the final moments on that. So let's do the final things with the crashing wave. Okay, so I'm going to turn around and I'm going to grab let's see, what do I want to grab? Okay, so I'm going to grab my small fluffy. So my fluffies are just very coarse bristled brushes, and they're I beat them up, and the bristles fray everywhere. You see that? Okay, so I'm going to swirl tap dab one of those. This is my medium-sized fluffy. I use these brushes all the time with the paint parties, or the brushes in my kit. But all it is it's a stiff, coarse-haired bristled brush, and I beat it all up, and it has bristles going everywhere. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to dab into my white paint, and I'm going to smush, smush, smush on the side. Very little white paint, and I'm getting it all into the mashed up bristles. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to lightly tap and add some splashes. Let me bring you guys closer. Close up. Ah! Alright, so let me bring you in closer so you can see the details on the crashing wave. So I'm doing these splash moments. Okay, so a stiff bristled brush, something that's having things going every direction, and I'm doing some splash moments in here. Right, so little dots, little pieces of the water splashing upwards. Okay, and you can have fun with these. Alright, I'm going to come over here, do some in here. Alright, do some more splash moments in here. Okay, put those in. Alright, so I'm going to turn around, and next thing I want to do is I want to grab a small round brush. Let's use Mr. Nifty. Alright, so Mr. Nifty I send out to everybody that sends me support. He's this cool nifty brush. He has an amazing point on him. He's very small and he's nifty, so that's why I call him Nifty. So you want to make sure your paint is nice and thin and loose and able to flow. So if your paint was getting goopy during this whole thing, which mine did, I'm going to just add a little bit of water to it. Just going to add a little bit of water to it, and I'm going to turn around and mix it up. All right, get it nice and thin and smooth. Nice and thin and smooth. So I just grabbed a little bit of water, and I'm mixing it into my paint, and I'm making sure that the paint is nice and thin and smooth. Okay, roll out the excess of my brush. So let's wipe off the brush from doing that. Nice and thin and smooth. And you're going to come in here and you can add some more pronounced dots. Okay, add some more pronounced dots in here to create splash moments. So all I'm doing is just dot, 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 dot. Alright, so I'm just adding some bigger dots to this. Okay, making these splash moments happen. And then another thing you want to do is that there's foam water lines. So there's water lines that go through the water, and they have foam in them, so they're white. And all those are zigzags, but you want to make sure you're following the shape of your wave. Okay? So I'm going to turn around and put some of those in. So I'm going to go back and forth, but I'm zigzagging a line. Okay, you guys see that? So I went back and forth, but I zigzagged the line. So a lot of things happened just then. I moved my brush back and forth, but if you noticed, I arched this line the shape of the wave. Okay, because these waves have little foam watermarks in them. So let me do another one so you can see what I did. I'm going to follow the arch of the wave, but I'm going to do some zigzags, and they're swooping. Okay, so you want to put those in for yourself. Alright, so you just got to remember those, and they don't have to go from top to bottom. You can do ones that are like off to the side here, like just in the wave itself. You know, nothing major. You can do ones that are going upwards. You can do ones that are going like this, like just upwards, like that. You can do ones like this if you want to. Okay, so you can do ones like that. Alright, so let's finish off this crash and rock, and we'll be all set, unless you guys have any questions. Alright, so I'm going to go over to the crash and rock here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to grab that fluffy brush. I'm going to grab that fluffy brush and put my splash moments in. Okay, so we're going to grab the fluffy brush and put some splash moments in. Very little paint, guys, very little paint. So we're just going to put a couple dots, right? Putting the dots in. Putting the splash moments in. Well, lots and lots of dots. This basically creates lots and lots of dots. So you're not creating every dot with a small brush. You're just doing it very quickly with a lot of bristles. So I'm going to put the splash in. Right? I'm going to pull a little bit. I'm going to pull a little bit to get those lines in the water. So I'm just pulling a little bit there, so I don't have to draw them all in. Alright guys, and I'm going to grab that small brush now. I'm going to grab Mr. Nifty and put some more pronounced dots in there. Okay, I'm going to put some more dots in there that are a little more clear. Alright, make the splash moment happen for us. So it's all about movement. It's all about you know, following the movement of your ocean. It's arches and dips and all stuff like that. I'm gonna put in that curve again with the white. So putting in the curve. Okay, it's all about blending your colors out. Everything is soft and blended. Right? You have your lighter moments and your darker moments in your water. I'm going to put some water lines in here now. Those water lines I told you about. Put some of them in here. Okay? So it's all about softening. It's all about having the movement, following your movement, building on itself, giving it a chance to dry so you can put in all these nifty little things, all the nifty little details and whatnot. Hi W Mac, how you doing, love? So I didn't finish this up. I'll play a little more. I really don't have anything else to instruct to you. I showed you that you put the dark moments in, right? You have the lighter moments going on. Everything is soft and blended. Okay, you put the splashes. Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear you're doing okay. All right, you put your, you want to make sure you get your dots in there. I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in. All right, you get your water lines in here. All right, guys. When you're further away, they're smaller. As you get closer, they get bigger. Lots of swooping. All right, so lots of little things in an ocean. Lots of little details. But you guys have this. You can totally do it. Totally. Oh, look at me. I'm a mess. You can totally do it. All right, guys? So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm just going to play for a little bit. I'm going to play on this wave a little bit. Add some more details into there. So we had Kelly and Deb and Jerry and Nancy and Catherine and Margaret and Lisa and Tracy, Tina and Louise. And W Mac is here. And I just want to thank you all for joining me tonight. You all warm my heart. Always free to watch. Tips are appreciated, and I hope I showed you some things that you can use. I hope you showed you some tricks, and I hope your oceans come out amazing. So feel free to message me anytime if you ever have any questions. I'm always available. Right? So there you guys go. There's your ocean. Let's move you back a little bit so you can get the whole thing in there. And if you have any more questions, let me know, because I'm just going to sit here and play. You're welcome, Margaret. I'll move you back even further. I'll move you back even further so you can get the whole thing. You can get the whole thing in here. There we go. You're welcome. Oh, Nancy wrote, I truly enjoyed you. Thank you for... Oh, I'm glad you found us too. Welcome to the family, Nancy. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Excuse me. I'm glad you found us too. Thank you. Okay, so... just gonna, using my Fluffy again. Grabbing some white. And I'm just gonna turn around and put a splash moment on this one. Well, I'm just playing. Oceans are fun. You play a lot in oceans. Okay, thank you everybody for joining me. Y'all warm my heart, and have fun and go create. Okay, see y'all soon. Bye bye.